On YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank you all so much for joining me for this being my review for RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 11 episode 10. A couple things I want y'all to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big white subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to match that thing, so go ahead and match it for a brother. Also, be sure to leave a thumbs up for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content I'm putting out on my channel. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various queens on this episode. Who do you think will make it into the final? Do you agree with the judging? Were you amused by this challenge? Because honestly, I sure was not, to be honest. What you think of the runway? Let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but certainly not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. So I'm just going to talk about each individual queen, and then I'll talk about the lip sync, and then we'll move on, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I got my notes once again. I think we're going to make a habit of this, y'all. First up, we have Dawn. So the Maxi Challenge was Tell Me Something Good, which was a story that the queens had to tell to warn their younger selves about life or something of that nature, something along those lines. Tell a story about something that happened while they were a child that I guess had an effect on them later on down in life. So first up, we have Dawn. Dawn had a story about the first time she got high with her friends. And it was a decent story, but the thing about RuPaul's Drag Race, every single challenge, you have to make RuPaul laugh. With every single challenge. With the exception of a makeover, I think I've said in a previous video, you have to make RuPaul laugh. So unfortunately, Dawn's story did not necessarily make people laugh too much. I thought it was a decent story, you know what I'm saying? And I give all these queens props for being able to come up with material for their challenges, because that cannot be an easy thing to do at all. And for you to not know whether it's going to be funny or not know whether it's going to be good enough or not, like, I give all of these queens major props for their creativity with this. So Dawn was okay. As far as her runway look for red carpet realness, I think was the category. The dress was nice. However, I did not like necessarily the shape of the dress or the material that the light purple was made of. I liked what the dark purple looked like underneath the light, but it just wasn't my favorite. It just wasn't my favorite. Anyways, next up we have Akuria C. Davenport. Akuria is honestly my favorite from the semifinals. I'm rooting for her the most, although I sort of kind of doubt that she will win. I heard Nina Bonita Brown, who was in season 9, and does reviews for the show. I heard that she said Akuria did not enjoy her time on All Stars. Now, she did make it to the semifinals, so I don't know exactly what that means. But Akuria did a story about her getting pumped for the first time. And I guess she must have been underage at the time. I don't know. But there were funny parts to it, yes. However, overall, it wasn't that funny. And then when she got behind the shade and she was changing her dress, it seemed like it took a little bit longer than it was supposed to. And it looked like she was actually struggling to get the original dress that she had on off. But I enjoyed her effort. I did enjoy her effort. And once again, I am rooting for Akuria C. Davenport to win this whole thing. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would want for her to win out of all the girls that are left in the competition. Her runway look. I hated the wig. I did not like, I typically don't like those sculptured wigs. And then her wig had some other things in it as well. The dress was pretty for the most part. I love the fringe on the arms. However, the colors on the midsection were kind of muddled together. They really didn't make much sense going together. So it wasn't my favorite dress. I'm sorry. The colors are, for me, are very important for an outfit. And if the colors aren't making sense together, then, you know, I love the fact that it was blue for the most part, but in the middle, there were all these other colors of the rainbow that were mixing together, and it really didn't come off that good, at least not to me. But shout out to Akuria. Next up, we have Crystal Method. So Crystal Method told a story about her riding the bus. And she was supposed to get off at the same stop at this other boy, but this other boy did not get onto the bus on the day that she was referring to. So she rode the bus all the way back to the bus station, or where the buses are docked or held. And then the bus driver just drove her home. Crystal Method did end up winning the entire challenge. Did she have one of the funnier stories? I guess to the judges, yes. To me, I don't know who I would have chosen for my winner, to be completely honest, because I really wasn't here for hardly any of the stories, to be truthfully honest. But the judges felt like Crystal did the best, and so Crystal actually ended up winning the competition. And to me, it really does seem like Rue wants Crystal to win. That's just the feeling that I'm getting. Crystal was in the top 2 out of 3 of her bracket challenges, and RuPaul really seems to love Crystal this season. She really does, and so I'm gonna make an early prediction. I really feel as though Crystal Method is going to be the winner of All Stars 11. That is just my guess. Who knows? It could go either way, but it really does seem like Crystal's going to be winning this season. And as far as her runway look, I did enjoy it. A lot of times Crystal is a little hit or miss for me, but this like pantsuit type of clown outfit, it fit her very well. It was very fashionable. It was very nice. I did enjoy it. I even liked the hat that she had on. So Crystal did well this episode for sure. I really did like her runway look, and I typically don't like Crystal's runway looks. For me, a lot of times they don't come off as drag to me. It just comes off as costume to me. But Crystal did a good job this week. So next up we have Silky. So Silky told a story about her mother, who was the choir director, asking her to direct the choir. And then at the end of Silky's story, she shouted "sexual chocolate," which of course is a callback to Coming to America, with Eddie Murphy's character, who's saying, I believe the children are our future, by Whitney Houston. The greatest love of all. I'm sorry, I was blanking on the name of the song. She's saying the greatest love. He's saying the greatest love of all in the movie. So, wasn't that funny to me? Although, with it being a black story, I really could I don't know if I could relate to it, but I did enjoy hearing it. I thought Silky did a decent job, and I loved Silky's runway. It seems like Silky has lost a little bit of weight since her initial bracket, and her dresses are looking better on her. I have to say, her dresses are looking better on her. Her all black dress with the feathers at the bottom, it was gorgeous, and I love the black eye as well. I thought this is one of the best runways I've ever seen on Silky Nutmeg Ganache. So I thought she did decently this episode, decently. Next up we have Kennedy Davenport. So Kennedy Davenport, she told a story about getting a whooping from her mother. We know that this is a story that a lot of African Americans have. Not to say that white people or other ethnicities, they do not get whipped, but we've heard this story quite a few times, and so it's not necessarily a new thing for us to hear. I love the fact that Kennedy changed into what her mother looked like, and she emulated getting spanked and things of that nature. And then at the end of the challenge, she said, "And this is why I've won every single comedy challenge." So I'm thinking that Kennedy was a little confident that she would do well in this challenge. Unfortunately, she did not. She ended up in the bottom with Akira. But it is what it is. I did like Kennedy's runway outfit. It was very pageant. The only thing is with the hair looking like it was swooped to one side, it just looked a little off to me, the hair, but the orange dress was gorgeous. I did love the dress that Kennedy was wearing. I think it's unfortunate that we'll get to the lip sync challenge. I think it's unfortunate what happened in the lip sync, but I thought Kennedy did okay with her story. Once again, I really didn't enjoy too many of the stories, to be honest. So next up we have Jasmine Kennedy. So Jasmine Kennedy told a story about her coming out to her mother, or sort of kind of coming out to her mother, or being being exposed by her mother. So apparently Kennedy, when she was little, she had put on some makeup, and apparently a friend found out, and somehow or another her mother ended up finding out as well. And her mother knew that she was a gay, well, at the time she was a gay boy. I think I enjoyed Jasmine's story the most. I think her story made the most sense. Her story was the easiest to follow along. Um, I thought it was the most cohesive story as well, because some of the stories were going here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, I did like Jasmine's runway look. I thought Jasmine did a pretty good job this week overall. So shout out to Jasmine. Then we have Sam Starr. So Sam Starr told a story about the different sports that she tried out as a child to be a little bit more masculine and things of that nature. I will have to say the story was easy to follow along for me. I know in the judging they said that it really didn't have much direction in the story. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it is what it is. As far as Sam Starr's runway look, the gold dress was beautiful. I did like the wig, although it didn't seem like a wig that Sam Star would typically wear. But you kind of get used to that on All Stars, so it is what it is. I did think that the length of the dress was a little awkward. That awkward length between the knee and the ankle. The dress either needed to be shorter or longer, but that length that the dress was I don't know. But I like that she had heels on her dress as well. I thought that was a nice concept. Not my favorite concept, but I thought it was a nice concept. So I thought Sam Star did decently. Then we have Joey J. So Joey J, I can't remember exactly what Joey J's story was, but I do remember that she was using those sound effects for her story, and that apparently helped her quite a bit. I honestly was surprised that Joey J did not win because it seemed like the judges were laughing the most at Joey J. However, I was a little bit confused about the story, really couldn't follow what it was about or where she was coming from with that. Joey J's runway look was decent as well. So in the bottom two, as I stated, Crystal Method did win the challenge, so shout out to Crystal Method. And the bottom two was Akira C. Davenport and Kennedy Davenport, and they did a lip sync to, I guess, the Bathhouse remix to Deborah Costa's "Nobody's Supposed to Be Here." I thought it was a great lip sync. When I watched Nina Bonita Brown's review of it, or reaction to it rather, she does reactions to the episode. She felt as though Kennedy wasn't giving her all in the lip sync. I have a feeling that Kennedy sort of kind of saw where things were going, at least. But I don't know how Kennedy could have given in any more. I thought Kennedy did a great job. I thought Akira did a great job. Now, as far as Kyria is concerned, when she took off her wig and it seemed like she just had her natural hair, I'm sure it was another wig under that initial wig that she had on. First of all, I did not like the shape of that first wig that Akira had on during the lip sync at all. It just looked like an awkward shape to me. I don't know, but when you do a wig reveal, I feel like the wig underneath needs to be just as good, if not better, than the first wig that you had on. Because when Roxy Andrews did it for the first time in season 5, during the Whip My Hair Back and Forth lip sync against Alyssa Edwards, that first wig sort of kind of was not so much of a good wig. But when she revealed that other wig looked so much better, it looked so much better. So, for Akira, it's nice for a wig reveal, but I felt like the wig underneath did not live up to the wig that she had on initially. But anyways, it was a great lip sync. To be honest, I really felt like it was going to be a double Shantae. Apparently, they weren't going to do it on this episode. And RuPaul even commended the lip sync at the end of it. So, RuPaul does what she does. It is what it is. But, Akira ended up winning the lip sync and Kennedy Davenport was sent home. I was shocked that Kennedy went home in the first week of the semifinals, and Kennedy was obviously a little over it, which I can understand. This is Kennedy's 4th time completing on this show. She competed in season 7 as well as All Stars 3. She also competed in Canada versus the World 3, and now she's here in All Stars 11. So I think it's pretty sad that Kennedy was the first to go home in the semifinals. But shout out to Akira. I have a feeling that they kept Akira to keep the drama between her and Silky going. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what it seemed like to me because I honestly was expecting for Kennedy Davenport to win the lip sync, especially when she fell down in the middle of the song and they laughed so much during it. But, I thought they both deserved to stay, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion. But, anyways, I'm assuming they're going to do Snatch Game on the next episode. So we'll see how that happens. That's typically my favorite challenge to see besides the makeover challenge. So it is what it is as far as that's concerned. Tell me guys what you think down in the comments. Did you think that Kennedy Davenport deserved to be sent home to sashay away? Do you agree with Crystal Method winning the challenge? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my live Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my sister Prophetic Fire Ricky as well as our friend Bianca Edwards. We always have a great time talking about the latest happenings and goings on in the world. So join us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Thanks so much for clicking on the video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.